Report on the practice of revisionist history in the last 30 years, the role of false premises and political ideologies. This narrative is proudly brought to you by Polly Speaks For You. At Polly Speaks For You, we are committed to empowering individuals, especially those with disabilities or learning challenges, through innovative text-to-speech and voice recognition technology. Polly Speaks For You is more than just software. It's a tool for self-expression, connecting people with the world in meaningful ways. By blending the richness of history with cutting-edge technology, Polly Speaks For You demonstrates that every voice, whether preserving the past or shaping the future, has the potential to inspire. While we strive to make the story engaging, our primary focus is on storytelling itself. The visuals are secondary. We're showcasing the remarkable capabilities of text-to-speech software that bring these stories to life. Introduction. In the last 3 decades, historical revisionism has experienced a significant rise, with scholars, activists, and writers attempting to reframe historical narratives. While revisionism, in its ideal form, involves revisiting and reinterpreting past events based on new evidence and perspectives, it has also been used to promote ideologically driven narratives. These revisions have sometimes been grounded in false premises, selective use of evidence, and contemporary political ideologies that distort historical accuracy. This report examines the practice of revisionist history over the last 30 years, highlighting the role of falsified premises and the influence of current political ideologies on the rewriting of history. Historical revisionism. An overview. Historical revisionism refers to the reassessment of historical narratives, often in response to new evidence, emerging scholarship, or shifting societal values. Historically, revisionism has been essential in correcting biases and broadening our understanding of the past. For instance, the revision of history in post-apartheid South Africa helped uncover previously marginalized stories of resistance, while feminist scholars have brought forward the untold histories of women throughout various epochs. However, in recent decades, historical revisionism has taken on a more controversial nature. Some revisions, particularly those related to highly charged historical events, have been criticized for intentionally distorting facts to align with contemporary political or ideological goals. The rise of revisionist history in the last 30 years. Several factors have contributed to the increased prominence of revisionist history in the past 30 years. 1. Increased access to information. With the advent of the internet and digital archives, there has been an unprecedented increase in the availability of historical records and primary sources. While this has facilitated a more nuanced understanding of history, it has also led to the proliferation of pseudo-historical narratives, where misleading interpretations are presented as authoritative. 2. Globalization and cultural shifts. Globalization has fostered a more interconnected world, allowing for the cross-pollination of ideas. Social movements such as the rise of the LGBTQ+ movement, Black Lives Matter, and feminist movements have prompted a re-evaluation of history through different lenses, particularly focusing on the experiences of marginalized groups. However, these movements have sometimes been accused of distorting or oversimplifying historical realities to fit their agendas. 3. Political and ideological motivations. In some instances, revisionism has been driven not by a desire to better understand the past, but by a need to advance a specific political or ideological agenda. Nationalist, far-right, and far-left movements have employed revisionist histories to promote their narratives, often at the expense of historical accuracy. 4. Conspiracy theories and pseudo-history. The internet has facilitated the spread of conspiracy theories and pseudo-historical narratives. These often present a distorted view of historical events, such as Holocaust denial or the promotion of alternative, factually unsupported accounts of significant global events like World War II, the Cold War, or the Civil Rights Movement. The use of false premises in revisionist history. While historical revisionism can serve to uncover forgotten aspects of the past, it can also involve the deliberate use of false premises. This can occur when revisionist historians select or interpret evidence in a way that aligns with predetermined beliefs or ideologies. Some common ways in which false premises are incorporated into revisionist history include: 1. Cherry-picking evidence. Revisionist historians sometimes cherry-pick historical sources that support their arguments while disregarding evidence that contradicts their conclusions. This selective use of evidence results in a skewed narrative that does not reflect the complexity of historical events. For instance, proponents of Confederate memorials in the U.S. often highlight the lost cause narrative, which downplays the role of slavery in the Civil War, while ignoring overwhelming evidence that the Confederacy was founded on the preservation of slavery. 2. Misrepresentation of primary sources. In some cases, revisionist historians distort or misinterpret primary sources. A famous example is the use of documents by Holocaust deniers to prove that the Holocaust either did not happen or has been exaggerated. These misinterpretations are often rooted in ideological motivations and lack scholarly rigor. 3. Oversimplification of complex events. Revisionist accounts frequently oversimplify complex historical events in order to fit a narrative that supports a specific agenda. This is evident in the way some far-right groups downplay the atrocities of Nazi Germany, or in how certain nationalist movements gloss over colonial violence in their own histories. 4. Presentism. Presentism refers to the tendency to interpret historical events through the lens of modern-day values, standards, and ideologies. This often leads to a distorted understanding of the past, as actions and ideas are judged by contemporary norms that did not exist at the time. While it is crucial to address historical injustices, presentism can lead to anachronistic judgments that obscure the broader context of events. The role of political ideologies in shaping revisionist history. Political ideologies have played a significant role in shaping revisionist history, as history is often used as a tool for advancing specific political agendas. Several ideological groups have sought to rewrite history to promote a particular narrative. 1. Nationalism and the rewriting of national histories. Nationalist movements have frequently used revisionist history to promote a more flattering portrayal of their country's past. This can involve downplaying or completely omitting historical events that are seen as shameful or inconvenient. For instance, in the United States, revisionist histories have been used to justify the continued celebration of Confederate leaders, despite their role in defending slavery and racism. 2. Left-wing and social justice movements. Social justice movements have also engaged in historical revisionism to challenge the dominant narratives that have traditionally marginalized oppressed groups. This is often done to highlight the experiences of women, racial minorities, and indigenous people. While this is an important corrective to historical erasure, critics argue that it sometimes leads to the simplification or distortion of past events in ways that can be ideologically driven. 3. Historical revisionism in the digital age. The rise of social media and online platforms has provided a fertile ground for the spread of revisionist histories that align with political ideologies. These platforms allow for the rapid dissemination of misleading or outright false historical narratives, sometimes fueled by political figures or groups seeking to manipulate public opinion. For instance, the spread of fake historical narratives during political campaigns, such as those used by populist movements, has made it harder to distinguish fact from fiction. 4. Rewriting history for political gain. In some authoritarian regimes, historical revisionism is a tool for consolidating political power. By rewriting history to glorify past regimes or justify current policies, these governments seek to control public memory and suppress dissent. This is seen in countries where history textbooks are altered to present a more favorable image of the ruling regime, such as in North Korea or Russia. Conclusion. The practice of revisionist history over the last 30 years has been marked by a combination of valuable re-examinations of the past and problematic distortions fueled by false premises and political ideologies. While revisionism plays a crucial role in challenging dominant narratives and offering more inclusive perspectives, it is important to be wary of its potential misuse. Revisionist histories driven by ideological agendas can lead to a misrepresentation of the past, distorting our understanding of history for political gain. To ensure that history is accurately portrayed, it is essential for historians, educators, and the public to engage critically with revisionist claims. Rigorous scholarship, reliance on well-supported evidence, and an openness to diverse perspectives are necessary to maintain the integrity of historical revisionism and safeguard against the manipulation of history for political purposes. If you're enjoying this story, please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating content that educates and empowers. To learn more about South Africa's leading accessibility software and to support our dyslexic-friendly initiative, visit www.polispeaksforyou.co.za. Drop a comment if you want more information. Thank you for watching this video.